What's up, guys? Duncan here, and today we've got an interesting topic to discuss, and that is why you need to be quiet when you're in Russia. Now let's get right into the main reason for this. Look at this building here. A building like this is what the majority of Russians are living in. They aren't like America, where most people might have their own individual house to live in. And this can affect how you express yourself volume-wise. That is to say that this wall over here, if I were to start yelling, my neighbor would be able to hear it pretty clearly, and it would be very rude of me to be loud. Whereas when I lived in America and I had a house there, I could play drums, I could play my video games and scream like, what the? Just get crazy. I could try to make my friends laugh by being loud and obnoxious. And also I could, as a form of catharsis, if let's say I'm building a IKEA cabinet and I can't find that last damn screw, I can just let out a, what the, where is this thing? Like I can let myself just scream and let it out. Whereas in Russia, that is not the case. And you'll very quickly feel that sort of pressure on you here, not just when you're in the apartment buildings, but also when you're out on the metro or just simply out on the street. I mean, yes, I do see some loud kids here, obnoxious kids, but for the most part, you're not going to want to bring a lot of attention to yourself. You're going to have a lot of people looking at you strangely if you're very loud and obnoxious. When I first met with someone in the airport, when I flew in here the first time to Russia, and immediately I'm ready to talk to her about how my trip went, and I'm like, oh man, you wouldn't believe this. Immediately she's like, Duncan, like tone it down. Like she was embarrassed by how loud I was talking in the airport. And for me, I'm like, what are you talking about? This is a normal volume to be speaking. But for her, this was like a very strange cultural kind of boundary you don't cross on just being loud and boisterous and obnoxious. You need to keep it a little, you're always have that sort of feeling here of kind of keeping it just a little kind of toned down. And it even got so bad. This is one of the funniest things that's happened to me in Russia. One day we were driving along a 3 or 4 lane highway. I'm in this girl's car. And we're joking around, and she makes some sort of joke about me or something. I'm like, oh yeah, but like I retort in a loud and joking manner. And literally the car that was driving beside us, a woman was sitting and she had her window rolled down, and she looked over in disgust of just like, ugh, and rolled up her window while not breaking eye contact, of just giving a complete look of like, ugh, just because we were being so loud in our car on the highway, like cruising along the highway. And to imagine that happening in America would just be crazy. I could never imagine something like that. And this has happened in a cafe before also. I've been sitting down with a Russian person. We're talking, and someone notices my American accent, or they might have heard me speaking English, and they wanted to start up a conversation with me. They were a guy who had lived in America for a long period of time, and he's yelling across the cafe, yo, he's like, where are you from, man? And I'm like, yo, I'm from Kentucky. And we're going back and forth, and we just immediately snapped into our American mode of volume of speech. And very quickly you start noticing the other patrons of this cafe just like, what is going on here? And one person actually called over the waiter and had them come over to this guy's table who was yelling over and like, please sir, if you could just quiet down a little bit and take down your volume, please. Thank you. Like it's just a very interesting thing. And I think Americans in general, we do have this sort of loudness that we take for granted. Like even something like shutting a car door. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but growing up in America, whenever I'd get out of a car, I wouldn't think about, you know, kind of shutting the door to where it's almost closed and then just giving it a last little. I would just go do the flick. I just grab the corner of the kind of the door and I just do this flick and just let it shut, and I'd walk to wherever I'm going. But even that here in Russia is like, whoa, 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 bro. Like, what are you doing to my car? Like, even that is almost like a loud thing. It's just, I think we kind of take this for granted. This makes me think like this is a difference between America and Russia. And I wonder what effect that has on a person psychologically. I mean, let's discuss this. What are the pros and cons of being able to be a loud, boisterous person? One, you can be funnier and more expressive. You can easily make your friends laugh with like, oh, what the, you know, I don't know. It's just, it's more entertaining, I think. And you can see that with a lot of streamers online. What is another thing? The catharsis of it. It's nice to, if you, instead of bottling in this rage of like, oh, I'm so upset, you can just let it out with a, you know, loud expletive word, and then you feel much better. You don't have to keep this bottled in for a long period of time. You can just let it out and feel much better. So I think those are the two great things about being able to be loud. Now, what are the minuses of it? Well, it is kind of nice in Russia to be able to go out and not have to worry about people being loud, carrying on some loud conversation that you don't care about, or playing their music loudly, or people being obnoxious. Everybody's pretty well behaved for the most part here, and it feels nice to just be able to go walk around. You don't have to worry about someone yelling or making a big deal out of something. I mean, even in Russia, it's like, even bumping into someone. In America, that's a pretty big deal. You need to make sure, like, oh, sorry, my mistake. Like, in here, it's just like, whatever. It's just that there is a comfort here in Russia of being able to just walk around and just almost turn your brain off and just go about doing what you want to do, and not having any sort of disruptions while you're doing it, not having to do small talk or like I said, worry about having to apologize to somebody, worry about someone screaming or loud conversations or playing their music, etc. Like, that is a nice thing about it. Also, maybe it's a bit more of a mature personality, we could say, to be someone who's more even in their tone of speech and not loud and obnoxious. So yeah, there are some good things about having this more chill, quiet, calm society or culture here in Russia. And by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this, but there is, speaking of culture, there is still remnants of that Soviet cultural past of where people did not want to stick out. You did not want to stick out in Soviet times in Russia. Everyone was kind of the same. You didn't want to dress flamboyantly or be loud and stick out from everyone else in the crowd. And I do feel like there are still remnants of that here, but also you will see a lot of American culture bleeding through, and especially with the younger people. Like I said, I can't lie to you and say that there aren't people who are loud and obnoxious and maybe breaking common Russian cultural standards, because you do see, like I said, that American culture is making its way, bleeding through into Russia, because of a lot of their consumption of entertainment, you know, comes through YouTube, American films, things like that. So there are exceptions to this, but overall, Russia is a very calm and quiet place for the most part. Very much different from America. It has its pluses, it has its minuses, but I've grown used to it and started to enjoy it. So maybe when you come to Russia, you'll enjoy it too. But thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, check out all the links in the description, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.